So welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at a new game from Legion Wargames. It's called The Battle of Blenheim, 1704. And it kind of sees it's the Battle of, really small, 1704, it says Blenheim. Okay, but it's the Battle of Blenheim, 1704. I will be honest, a period of history I know almost nothing about. They don't teach this stuff at school, at least not where I was from. But I believe this battle was key as part of the Spanish Succession War, I believe, something like that. Basically, it's a coalition of British and English and Austrian forces, and they're fighting against a Franco-Bavarian coalition. And so it's pre-Napoleonic, it's 1704, so you're looking at the early Age of Enlightenment. But it's the kind of units you'd seen in a Napoleonic game. It's mounted cavalry, it's riflemen, and it's artillery. And it's about, battle lines, formations, that kind of thing. So this game, it's designed by Steve Pohl, and it's called, if you can see on here, it says the 7 Hex System, and this is volume 1. It's the first one, but there are plans for other games in this series. And I think this series is going to be, I don't know if it's going to stay in this period, or if it's going to kind of expand into the Napoleonics. I don't know how that's going to go, but there's big plans for this system, so we're going to see how it goes. Now, the 7 Hex System is a very unique, at least for me, I haven't seen anything quite like it. It's a unique map style, and therefore kind of a movement and activation style, and we'll see that here in a second. So if you flip it over to the back, you get this great picture. This is the map. There's detail on here, but it's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see these really big shapes, kind of look like snowflakes. Some units on here. This is a game which 1 or 2 players, it's perfect for solitaire play in the sense that there's no hidden information or anything like that. So you can play it with 1, no problem. What we'll do is we'll just crack it open and see what we've got. So inside the box, bag of bags, like that they do that, and a couple of D6s. And in this game, the color of the dice is important in certain dice rolls that you make. When you roll for orders that you give, and the colors mean things. The red dice means this, if the white dice is this and this. So those are important. You can't just sub those out for different dice unless you can't have 2 of the same dice. You need to have different differentiation between your dice at least. So rulebook, and this rulebook is 24 pages, but I'm going to tell you here 12 of these pages, so it's a 50-50 split. All of this from page kind of 12 onwards. This is notes about the system, game design, examples, extended light combat examples, and history as well. So it's 12 pages of rules. And this is 12 pages of Legion rules, and by that I mean it's well spaced out, they have good diagrams, and everything is neat and orderly. If you can kind of see here, this is a gloss, or at least a semi-gloss. This to me is kind of glossy, and this is really thick paper. So I'm actually really happy. It's a really good production. Some of the old Legion War games from ages ago, it was just like matte printer paper style. These are really upping the production value. So this is a very nice, and that's something that I'm enjoying from the new Legion output. Is the games are very, very high quality. There's 1 sheet of counters. If you look, some of these are single-sided. These are kind of the advance, charge, attack markers, the defend ones. So those are just game markers. If you look, the actual pieces are double-sided. So you have English forces, you got some Habsburg forces here as well. And then you have the French and Bavarian units down here. And it's going to be a line of these guys and a line of these guys, and how well can you issue orders to them in the chaos of battle. So you can see there's not actually a lot here in the way of counters. And you can get some little markers here, but really it's guys against guys, and here's what they are doing or have done to make sure you don't double activate guys. That's it. So very, very simple. If you look here, the artwork on these is really nice. I'm having a good time looking at these. You even have the actual paintings here, which is very nice to have on your leaders, a bit of history. And these, they kind of punch out nice and easily. Just kind of pull them off and they come out well. So very happy about that. Good quality counters. I'll be clipping and rounding these here in the future so we can play this soon. So very nice, very happy about that. Those punch decently well. Here's the map, and we're going to get to this. We're going to come back here in just a second, because this map is very, very interesting. But we'll get there in a second. Something nice here is we have, so it's just a bifold, and this is again a good, thick, very, very heavy paper, and this is like a semi-gloss, and this is a setup chart. So in the rule book, it has setup of put all these guys out here, and it has a list of them and all that kind of stuff. But having a visual diagram for us visual learners, this is incredibly helpful. This is just a scaled down version of the map, indeed the entire map board, so you've got the tracks in there. But it just has, here's all the blue guys, and here's the units that they are, all the infantry, all the artillery, tells you where to put everything, in words and diagrams. Same with the kind of the British or English forces over here, and then you've got the Habsburg up here as well. So very, very helpful. Really, really, really liking this. Here we have, let me open these, a couple of play aids. So there's a bunch of play aids here. All right, we're looking at, I think there's some identical ones. Okay, so you have two sets of the play aids, and these are single-sided. So if you had them under plexi, you can slide these under as well and have like fixed reference. These two are identical, and on here you have attack value modifiers, defensive modifiers and tables, and kind of roll the dice. Here's what you kind of coming up with as well. And then this one is you have ranged fire to here, so this cannon fire, a lot of that. Unit occupancy, just helpful tips. This is also really important, this strategic movement type table. So in a lot of games, I do strategic movement, you can double your move. Here, there's 3 different types of strategic movement based on what you might want to do and the kind of situation you're in. Whilst that might seem a little bit complex, it's all laid out for you here really nicely. Having read the rules, this is actually really cool. But yeah, each player gets one of these, and each player gets one of these. Nice help played, so those will be good to go. So let's take a look back at that map. This is a very, very, very interesting looking map. So it's again a very heavy paper, which is nice. I'm very happy about that. And you can kind of see this has got a good sheen gloss to it, but it's not shiny when you kind of look at it. And you can see here, this normally you'd see a regular hex overlay. I'll just bring it up pretty close so you can see. Here, this is the 7 hex system. The map's divided up into these areas, and each of these areas consists of 7 hexes. And you can kind of look here, the area is numbered, like you expect a hex to see, and each of the kind of hexes is lined up with just these little corner markings. So this is the central area, and there's 6 surrounding hexes, and all of that is part of 0906. And you can see that across the whole board. And if you remember back to that kind of setup map, we saw you're going to have your Franco-Bavarian army on the south side of this marsh, and then you have the English forces and the Habsburg up here as well. And the game is basically fighting over, you're trying to kill each other. You need to do, I think, you need to kill 12 enemy units and then hold a certain number of villages, and I think it's Lutzingen, Oberglauheim, and Blenheim. I think those are the 3 really key ones. So the Franco-Bavarians are in a very defensive posture. They're just sitting behind this swamp, come at me kind of thing. And the onus is on the English and the Austrians to come down and to pummel them, to inflict those wounds. Now, the English have better troops, the Franco-Bavarians have lesser troop quality, and their leaders aren't quite as good, so there's some very interesting tactical decisions to be made. But that's it. This map is really, really thick, the paper, so I was very impressed by that, and as you can see, it's very clean, it's very nice open spaces if you can get across that marsh, and I'm really, really happy with it. It looks great. You've got on this side, you have a game turn track, 15 turns if you need them. There's a modifier track for your orders, which is a really interesting game mechanic, because in this one you issue an order, and then the unit kind of does that, they execute the order, and then you try to issue an order to your next one. That's when those 2 dice come in, you roll dice, you might not be able to issue another order. And so you do get some randomness in that kind of fog of war command system. How well can you get orders out of the battlefield, that kind of thing. So a very, very interesting game, a unique system. And the system to me is exciting because you've got these big areas, and what you're doing is each area has a stacking limit. So you're kind of moving from center point to center point. And then once you get into the area kind of you want to be in, then you move out and you fill out these spaces to make your real battle lines. So instead of having I'm marching in column and then I go to line formation, that's kind of abstracted away through this system. To move from this to this, you simply move from the middle area to the middle area. And then on the next turn or with another order, you can then spread them out into these other areas, effectively forming a line. So it's a really cool way of having done that, and sometimes micromanaging all that stuff in these era games can be a mess, but this looks like it could be very intuitive. So very exciting system, excited to play this. Looks like it'll be a good solitaire game as well. So appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been an unboxing of Blenheim, or the Battle of Blenheim 1704 from Legion Wargames, and I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.